You are now entering the realm of white hot business. This is where we get real about why what happens in the bedroom and your body is a reflection of your business confidence and visibility. I'm your host, sexologist and business mentor Lauren White, and I'll guide you to become the sovereign, magnetic, and sensual woman that's available for more success and satisfaction. Access all areas. It's time to transform your business from lukewarm to white hot. Hello and welcome to White Hot Business. I am your host, Lauren White, and we are gathering today to address a major turn-off that's happening in your business. It is happening right now, right this minute. It's probably so second nature to you that you don't even know you're in turn-off. You're just in your own mode of tolerating, expecting things to be this way, staying in this comfortable, uncomfortable plateau. Now, a note of warning. I said something as an email subject line once and I got a lot of unsubscribes, like a lot. I know not everyone can stomach what I have to say in this episode, and I'm okay with that. I get that it can feel a little raw and a little too real, a little too confronting, but that's what you and I are here for. If you don't know your turn-offs, you can't get to the turn on. And if you can't get to the turn on, you can't have a white hot business. For as long as you are walking around buttoned up and living and leading from self-sacrifice instead of a surplus and an overflow of what feels better than good, better than fine, better than okay, we collectively aren't moving the needle for each other or for the generations that are looking to us. It is time to move the needle drastically. It's time to put your attention on one of the parts of your identity that's blocking your ability to feel power. Infinite power. This energy, this mask, it's in your business, it's in your body, in your bedroom, and it's turning you off. Time for the reveal. The biggest barrier and the biggest shadow part of you that is preventing your experience of power in all aspects of your life is the martyr. Martyr mode, we all know it. We all know it. We've all experienced it. We've all witnessed it. We've all been privy to it within ourselves, within the women that we look to, the women that raised us, the women that are around us right now. The martyr relishes and loves to say, "You're not worthy of deep pleasure. You're not deserving of those feelings you desire. In fact, you're not worthy of any of these feelings that you desire. There is no way that you should celebrate that thing because you haven't done all the steps. You haven't worked hard enough. You haven't proven yourself yet. You haven't run yourself down to the ground. How do you know you're even worthy if you don't have bare hands to prove it? White knuckles. If you haven't collapsed into exhaustion, you haven't spent every skerrick of energy you have. So I don't think you're deserving." Whew. Self-flagellation central. Constantly cracking the whip and relishing and feeding off the story of self-sacrifice and self-sufficiency. Yawn. That martyr, she loves to push and push and push and push and push so that power remains elusive and always in the future. Like, just listening to this, are you feeling how forceful she is in preventing you from experiencing full-fledged power, pleasure in every aspect of your life and your work? Are you feeling her influence in what happens in the bedroom? Your connections, your relationships, your friendships, all of it. When the martyr is running the show and running her script, seeking validation that she craves from overextending above and beyond, all that's happening is she's getting off on that. Truth is, you're getting off on that. And what hasn't happened yet is you don't have the tools to know how to manage her. Isn't it the ultimate paradox? The woman who relishes control is yearning to surrender and be controlled. She's waiting for you, a higher part of you, to step in and do this for her. That's all that's going on. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not that you're not worthy. It's not that you don't deserve it. It is already decided. You are worthy. You are deserving. It's just she's going to tell you the opposite of that, because the story that was implanted in her years and years and years ago was that same story. Your power has been suffocated by the martyr because it was never safe for you to fully feel your pleasure. You being in your power and pleasure intimidated people. It scared people because they knew that they couldn't control you to the same extent. They weren't equipped to be at peace with their own power and pleasure, so they weren't able to encourage you and activate you and support you to be in your power and pleasure. They were taught to be intimidated by their pleasure and that it was taboo and that it was wrong because it can't be controlled. So this story goes way, 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 way back. They got something out of you being subservient. And the martyr has internalized that story and you're playing it out, or that reality, and you're playing it out for yourself. The martyr is multi-generational. She goes back, way, 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 way back. You being here listening to this tells me that you are brazen enough to examine this, to course correct this, and to really look at this and move some of these pieces and parts of yourself around so that you can do things in an unorthodox way. This unorthodox way is changing what will happen for you and the generations that come after you and the people that are currently in your world and will come into your world at a later point. That's how important this work is. That's why it's imperative that you are nowhere but here right now with what we're talking about. You have an opportunity to course correct this once and for all so that you can be in more of your power. And before the mask of martyrdom gets reactivated and says, I can do this and work this out on my own, you need to know you cannot break through the martyr on your own. That in itself is her at play, and it's what she feeds off. Here is how the martyr is showing up in your business and turning you off to clients, opportunities, possibilities, creativity, expansion, profit, pleasure. The martyr subscribes to the word helper. I'm a helper and I help people. That's what I do. Problem is, The martyr confuses helping with enabling. When her identity is all encompassed by this need and desire to be seen as a helper, she steps in where she wasn't invited, or she tries to rescue. And when that rescue doesn't work, she feels bitter that someone wasn't grateful for the help. Being and identifying as a helper deep down can mean I need to be needed. And that is my identity. Helpers aren't intrinsically turned on because their turn on is being poured into everyone else. My challenge to you is, if you couldn't use the word helper, or you couldn't use the words I'm of service or I'm being of service, what word or words would you use instead? The martyr in business is active when she is saying, fine, yep, good, okay, when really her blood is boiling under the surface. The martyr's an interesting one because she never got permission to be angry. She never got permission to release her anger and her frustration. So she swallows it down, she bottles it up, she acts buttoned up and represses it because that charge, that frequency of anger and frustration isn't safe to be expressed. And it comes out in these lackluster words. Fine, good, okay, yep, whatever. No. All those words are meaningless. They have no heart and no turn on and no substance. The martyr needs to learn about her no's and her yeses, and sometimes they need to be swapped around. It's not always about women learning to say no. It's about women learning to say yes to what really turns them on. And the martyr has got those wires crossed. She denies what feels good and goes, no, I won't. And then she says yes, which is really just the words of fine, okay, yep, I'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. When it's really an opportunity to say no and to redirect or to give a more fleshed out response than no. So check in with your yeses and your nos. Is it a yes that needs to be a no? Is it a no where there's an opportunity to say yes, where you're in denial? The martyr overgives in business from this place of lack and this empty well. She uses this to try and control how people see her. I want to be seen as the helper. I want to be seen to be of service. So I'm going to over deliver from this place that needs to be filled up. And you never get the satisfaction of being seen. It leaves you feeling unseen, unappreciated by your team, your clients. This is not a them thing. It's a you thing that needs to be addressed first. You are not empty, but if you are acting from this frequency, then you feel empty. And the question is, how can you fill up and be so full of yourself? If this is happening in your business, then that tells me that you need to look at your personal life. Where are you not feeling filled up in your personal life? Go there first. The martyr says, only I can do this. I'm the only one that can do this thing, no matter how big or small. And that keeps you locked in a story of overwhelm and I'm too busy and no one else can do what I do. And it singles you out. And then it creates this sense of isolation or this sense that you can't be helped, you can't be held, you can't be supported. None of that's true. All of that is a cover story. What's underneath the cover story? The real story is I'm afraid to find out who I really am. I'm scared of what I actually desire, because what will that disrupt? I am terrified of saying no to this thing, because what if I get left in lack? What if there's no more? Who will I be if I'm not helping and serving and busy and overwhelmed and managing and moving all the parts around? That's the scary part. As I love to say, don't be scared of finding out who you are. Be terrified of not. The not is what's going to stay with you on your deathbed. The not will be the regret. I didn't live a full life, and I had the resources and the means and the opportunity to. That terrifies me. Reposition your terror from being scared of finding out who you are, who you really are, and be absolutely terrified of not finding out. And having shadows like the martyr run your business and your bedroom and your body, your relationships, everything that you say is important to you. And above all, the martyr in business is continually trying to fit in instead of creating where she belongs. Hear these words. Fitting in will always leave you feeling out of place. It is contorting yourself into a box that was never made for you. Instead, create where you belong. If you desire something in this life, if you desire things to be run a certain way, or to create events a certain way, or to speak a certain way, or opportunities or offers that are in a certain flavor, a certain style, then there are other people out there that desire the same. Trying to fit in and be a good girl, the martyr's just the good girl grown up. Trying to fit in will suffocate you. You will not climax in your body, in your bedroom, in your business if you are constantly trying to fit in and contort yourself. Create where you belong. That's where your freedom is. I want you to know there is so much more available to you and for you if you are willing to address this turn off that is draining your business dry of turn on. No more martyr. Line in the concrete time. We're making it permanent. Sand is not permanent enough. The antidote, the energy that is here to act as a salve to your martyrdom, is sovereignty. The sovereign woman is all heart, pure heart. Not giving out of a place of this is what I have to do and this is what is expected of me. She's giving from courage. That courage strengthens her capacity to lead herself first. Pounding my heart right now, tapping it vigorously. Lead herself first. Then she can lead others second. She values boundaries. She values clarity, consent. The consent part really shows up when you step in to help someone who doesn't want to be helped. They did not say yes to that, and you're trying to save and rescue. The sovereign woman does not. The sovereign woman asks. She values leadership. And in her being in her leadership, she activates others to be in theirs. She values belonging over fitting in and knows that there is diversity in that belonging, that it's not all one and the same like fitting in is. Standards are imperative to the sovereign woman. To say, this is my standard, this is what I expect within this standard, And just because you're asking me to stoop doesn't mean that I will say yes. From there, she will either invite you into her set of standards, or she is empowered to negotiate and get to an outcome that benefits both parties with consent, with boundaries, with an agreement, written, spoken, both. When the sovereign woman is front and center and this energy in you is active and activated, she removes the mask of self-sufficiency, the mask of martyrdom. There is no more, I go it alone and I'm the only one and no one else can do this and I can't rely on anyone. She comes back to herself and she is equipped and at ease in asking for help, support, activation, ignition, to be held. She holds and she's held, both. That one really trips lots of women up, especially women that identify as helpers who hold. You do both. When you hold, you allow yourself to be held, and it makes you a more empowered holder of energy, of other people, of the taboo, power, all of it. I love that the sovereign embodies decisiveness. She knows what she knows. She knows that dithering about and not deciding is an incredible energy leak. She embodies independence without it going into the shadows of self-sufficiency. She trusts herself. And in that trust and in that place of overflow that she operates from, she is so generous. That generosity is crystal clear. Like, picture her as royalty on the throne who has plenty to give because she's full of herself. She can reach out to you and touch you, but it's not enabling and it's not codependent. It's, you're there, I'm here, and we have a connection. And there is flow between us. And there is symbiosis, and it's healthy, and it's illuminated. When the sovereign speaks, she says, I know and I trust. She uses the word I, we, and you appropriate to the truth and the context. She doesn't say, you know when this happens and you. No, she says, I, this is my experience. This is what happened to me. Are you able to connect to what I'm saying? Not, does this make sense? There's a potent way that you can tap into sovereignty when martyrdom steps in. When the martyr steps in, ask yourself, if I were the sovereign woman, if I were in my sovereignty right now, how would I approach this? The sovereign woman knows that all leadership starts with self-leadership. And when she's centered in herself, she has the most significant impact on her community, clients, lovers, friends, everyone. People she knows, people she'll never meet. So in my work and in my world, your sovereignty is always the first energy you need to establish and embody in business. It's your foundation that creates stability for the other energetic pillars of my work. An anchor, if you will. Now, you know, I'm not going to leave this potent discussion on the note of what is right now. That sovereignty, we're going to amplify that. What I have for you is a lighthouse to illuminate who it is, who you will inevitably be when you decide to stop circling around this powerful energy and simply be it every moment of your life and business. Like, it's your time to finally grasp you are worthy of this power. It is your birthright to be in your power and your pleasure in every aspect of your life, and that it's nothing to be scared of, frightened of. It's nothing to run away and hide from. There is nothing to hide from anymore when you know yourself in and out. When you know that your power is a completely natural state and a completely natural expression and extension of how infinite you are. Like, you are turn on. You've got the permission now. You've got the clarity. You know what's happening. You just forgot that feeling good feels fucking amazing. And you should feel fucking amazing in your business. That is the foundational piece for a white hot business. I want to give you an opportunity to remember. What I have for you is white hot power, and it's on demand. Instant access. You can do what you want when you want to. In part 1, you have the trust incubator, and you will find 5 potent trainings that will activate you to remember that trust, which is a key part of being sovereign, doesn't only come to you in the pristine conditions of a retreat or a luxe getaway when everything's in flow. Trust definitely doesn't just appear to rescue you. That's what the martyr wants. Trust is asking you and inviting you to be the heroine of your story, of your life, of your business. That's what's going to create the epic memoirs that we'll all be buying in 10 years' time. Inside part 2, you have the sovereignty incubator. This is what you've been waiting for. You will claim access to one of my most powerful bodies of work. Now, this has all been under lock and key for my high 4-figure clients and above for the last 2 years. Now, it is available to you. It is the Sovereignty Sermon and Dance. This is where you go beyond sitting and thinking to manifest your power, and you actually experience it through your body and in your body so you can draw in from out there. You are so ripe to fortify your power with trust and let your sovereignty reign in your body, business, and bedroom. The turn-off of martyrdom be gone. The sovereign is here to turn on you, your body, and your business. Be in your white hot power via the only link you need in the show notes.